Not all charity is the same. Some acts of kindness are inspired, some are instinctive, and some are required by faith and by design. In Islam, this required giving is called zakat, but it's not just money. It's purpose, it's justice, it's mercy in motion. Today we explore zakat deeply, not as law, but as divine design. A system written to purify wealth and protect society. By the end of this video, you'll see zakat not as a burden, but as a roadmap to social good that influenced history itself. The word zakat isn't just charity. It comes from a root meaning purification and growth, purification of wealth and growth of society. It is a command, not a suggestion, and one of the 5 pillars of Islam. The Qur'an links zakat with prayer, showing it's not a financial transaction, it's a spiritual discipline. Qur'an to verse 43, and establish prayer and give zakah and bow with those who bow in worship and obedience. So why does the Qur'an command giving zakat before many laws? We'll explore that next. Zakat's purpose goes far beyond generosity. The Qur'an says it exists so that wealth does not circulate only among the rich. It's a mechanism to reduce inequality, foster dignity, and build empathy between wealth and need. And it's structured, not random. In a world struggling with inequality, zakat is an early blueprint for economic justice. Zakat only becomes required when certain conditions are met. When wealth exceeds a minimum threshold nisab, and when held for 1 full lunar year. That way, the obligation is fair and proportional. So how is this different from modern tax systems? The Qur'an specifies 8 categories of people who can receive zakat. Qur'an 9 verse 60, zakat expenditures are only toward the poor, and for the needy, and for those employed to collect zakah, and for bringing hearts together for Islam, and for freeing captives or slaves, and for those in debt, and for the cause of Allah, and for the stranded traveler, an obligation imposed by Allah, and Allah is knowing and wise. This isn't random charity, it's divine prioritization. You might be surprised who qualifies and why. Stay tuned. Sadaqah is voluntary charity, open to anyone, anytime. Zakat is obligatory for those who meet the criteria. Both soften hearts, but only zakat is a legal obligation, a covenant between the believer and God. This distinction matters because it shifts mindset from optional kindness to societal responsibility. Allah says zakat purifies wealth and the one who gives it. This isn't tax language, it's spiritual language. It teaches detachment, not loss. It reminds us that wealth is trust, not ownership. Why does purification matter? Because without it, society fragments. In early Muslim societies, zakat helped build stable communities where poverty was not chronic, but rare. The system was so effective that in some periods, even non-Muslims living under Muslim rule found their societies more just than their neighbors. What can this teach us about justice today? The Qur'an repeats the command to give zakat in many places, always alongside prayer, always alongside moral life. For example, Qur'an 58 verse 13. Have you feared to present before your consultation charities? Then when you do not and Allah has forgiven you, then at least establish prayer and give zakat and obey Allah and His Messenger, and Allah is acquainted with what you do. This pairing tells us something profound. Zakat is a charity God obligates Muslims to pay yearly on their money and property. Its payment is made to the poor, vulnerable, and deserving as their divinely established right. The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, established zakat as the 3rd of the 5 pillars that Islam is built on. It's a spiritual discipline, an outward expression of inner responsibility. By linking giving with prayer, the Qur'an turns action into intention and intention into transformation. Many people hear zakat and think, is this like a tax? Is this legal or spiritual? Does it apply to me? Here's the truth. Zakat is not a government tax, it's a religious obligation instituted in Revelation. Some Muslims implement it personally, others via trusted institutions that distribute to legitimate recipients. But the principle remains the same: wealth is shared as a right of the needy. And this matters in a world where people often feel isolated from community. Islamic scholars define a minimum wealth threshold, called nisab, before zakat becomes due. It's not judgmental, it's protective. If your wealth doesn't exceed this level for one lunar year, you are exempt. This prevents burdening those already struggling. Once you cross that line, a small portion, typically 2.5% of savings, is given each year. This is not arbitrary, it's structured, just, and consistent. And it ensures that zakat promotes fairness, not fear. In practice, zakat has changed societies. It builds safety nets. It prevents destitution. It fosters mutual care. In early Muslim history, scholars reported times when no one in a community qualified to receive zakat, not because people refused charity, but because it had been used so effectively. That shows the power of structured giving. So why isn't zakat implemented everywhere today? Today, zakat foundations help distribute funds transparently and responsibly. This means communities stay resilient. Resources reach genuine need. Trust is reinforced. But the essence remains unchanged. Zakat is not about charity. It's about rights and responsibilities. And this distinction can reshape the sharing of wealth. The Qur'an didn't just intend economic justice. It intended social harmony, a society where dignity, faith, and goodness were protected across communities. Qur'an 2 verse 62, indeed, those who believe in the Qur'an, and those who follow the Jewish scriptures, and the Christian, and the Sabians, anyone who believe in Allah and the last day, and work righteousness, shall have their reward with their Lord. On them shall be no fear, nor shall they grieve. Qur'an 2 verse 177 says, righteousness is not that you turn your faces toward the east or the west, but true righteousness is in one who believes in Allah, the last day, the angels, the book, and the prophets, and gives wealth, in spite of love for it, to relatives, orphans, the needy, the traveler, those who ask for help, and for freeing slaves, and who establishes prayer and gives zakat. Those who fulfill their promise when they promise. And those who are patient in poverty and hardship and during battle. Those are the ones who have been ended as those who are the righteous. Zakat bridges divides. It reinforces community bonds. It reminds those with more that they are trustees, not owners. Imagine a society where every year, wealth naturally flows toward justice. Zakat is more than an obligation. It is a vision of justice, mercy, and shared dignity. If today's explanation helped you understand its purpose and power, like this video, comment what surprised you most. Share it with someone curious about meaning and fairness. Subscribe to the Qur'an Companion for more thoughtful, calm Quranic insights. Because zakat is not just about giving. It's about understanding how societies heal from within. This is the Qur'an Companion. Ma salam.